Okay, so let's do a quick reminder of what happened in the past 2 weeks. So you can see everything's kind of tying together, right? So we start out with just helping you set up reminders for yourself. So things that you've committed to. If you're the type that kind of forgets or you forget things here and there, how you can better yourself in that aspect, right? You can create one-time reminders to remind you or repeated reminders to just make you be more organized. So you don't always have to think about, okay, what do I have to do next? Right, you should have everything planned out. Then that leaves no worries about that, right? And then you can always look at your list of reminders and erase any old ones on Slack. Okay. At the same time, you were also doing Google Calendar. So I do want to let you know this, Y Scholars, we are evolving. So this is something that's going to be part of the future for our Y Scholars. We do expect all Y Scholars to transition to Google Calendar at some point, or not some point, moving towards that route essentially. So it's going to be a part of your practice during your time with us. And so you've learned how to create appointments. You learn how to add email notifications, and then you learn how to share calendars. So we're actually going to put that into real life practice right now. So moving forward, when you schedule coaching sessions with our team, you are actually going to share your calendar with your coach, and then they will look at your calendar. So hopefully you've been updating it. They're going to look at any openings that matches theirs, and then they're going to Slack you or send you a message and say, hey, I see that you're free on Tuesday at 6. I'm also free on Tuesday at 6. Can we confirm it? And then when you say yes, you are going to create that meeting, and then you are going to invite the coach to that meeting. Does that make sense? So we're actually putting you in charge of setting up the coaching sessions. Okay, so it's a great way to start practicing. I get all my staff anytime they want to meet with me. They have to request, and then they have to send me a meeting invite. Okay, so it's just a way of really making sure that we're communicating effectively, and then sealing that deal with that meeting invite. Okay, so for you all, the coach that's going to be meeting with you one-on-one for November and December. So we're actually putting the 2 months into one, because December, we kind of get cut off, right? So I think we kind of end by the second week of December anyways. And then we also lose out on Turkey week. So essentially we combine November and December to make it into 1 month. So there's only one more coaching session before the end of this year. And so Elaine's going to be the person doing that for you. So right now, if you don't mind, if you can share your calendar with Elaine, and let me put Elaine's email in chat there. Okay, if you forgot, so remember, you can only do this not on your phone, okay? You have to do this on your computer. And if you forgot how to do it, just you can send me a private message, and I'm happy to work with you afterwards. It would take like 5 minutes. Okay, so after the session, I'm happy to work with you individually. But please make sure you share with Elaine, because guess who I'm going to check in with after my session. Okay, so I'll give you another 2-3 minutes to do this. And then remember, make sure you are updating your schedule. If you changed your schedule because you have a different club meeting, you added another commitment, you start working with your family, you have to take care of siblings, put that on your schedule. Otherwise, your schedule is not true to what's going on in your life. So once again, you're not sharing with me, you're sharing with Elaine. So I put Elaine's email over there, but I'll put it again just in case. Okay, make sure you share with Elaine, not me. All right. I'm going to move on. Like I said, if you are confused, you aren't quite sure what to do, then make sure you stick around afterwards, and I'm happy to help you out. Okay, so we're going into our unit on time management. So first thing I think I want you all to realize is a planned life is a productive life. So I have worked with so many staff members, and I don't know if you had days like this where you're really busy, you're doing a lot of stuff. But then if someone asks you like, hey, what did you accomplish that day or what happened yesterday? You don't really know, right? You just felt like you were really, really busy. And this happens with my staff all the time. They're like, Audi, I worked so hard. And I'm like, okay, so how come the project's not finished? Or how come the event's not planned yet? And they're like, I don't know. They don't have any words to tell me. Okay. And so what's usually happening is that people are just doing things as they go along. And of course, you can go with that route. But if you're not being more aware of how you're spending your time and what exactly you need to focus on, then it can be pretty hard to be productive. So when we say productive, we mean you are making, you're taking steps and you're making progress on things that you for sure want to get done. Okay, so maybe it is a project, maybe it's an essay that you've been putting off, maybe it's a career goal, maybe it's you want to build better relationships with a loved one. All of these things take some planning, right? If you kind of just go with the flow, honestly, you may not know how it will, what the outcome will be. Great. So here is what we're going to do. We're going to go through a lightning round. We'll call it rapid fire questions. I'm going to ask you some really short and simple questions. And all I want you to do is put your response in chat. So this should be fast, so we can move quickly along. So help me out by making sure you put your answers down immediately. So first up is, are you busy? And all you have to do is just yes or no. No other answers. You only get yes or no. So you decide if you're busy or not. Okay, no maybes, no depends. Okay, if I ask you, are you a busy person? What do you usually say? Okay, so I'm seeing some mixes. Excellent. So Sephora, Adon, Isaac, Afnan, Heli, Meraki, Aishna, Beta. All right. Looks like we're kind of split. Interesting. Okay, how about this? How many hours a week do you spend in academic classes? So we're talking about purely classes, okay? So Berkeley High, right? Or Cerrito High or Albany High or whatever school you go to. And then also if you're taking like a college course, you can count that as well. So purely just classes. And we're talking about how many hours a week. So I believe Berkeley High, you're spending what, 3 hours, right? Just on per day. But it's only 4 days. So hopefully you can do some math. Okay, you can use your fingers. That's so cool. All right, so I see 12, 14. Okay, that should be around the average. 20, wow. Okay, very cool. 12 hours. Okay, so we're averaging about 12. And then, yeah, if you're doing additional college courses, then that can definitely bump it up, right? Excellent. Cool. Thanks for that. 13, 14. Yeah, so we're all very similar. This, I'm assuming we'll see some differentiation. So, you know, ideally you're being honest. Okay, we're not judging here. So how many hours a day do you spend on homework and studying? So homework is you're working on assignments, projects, essays. Studying is like you're purely studying for tests. So combined total per day though, per day. Did you put 1 hour? All right. Are you sure about that? You just attended tutoring earlier. That was like at least half an hour right there. Okay. 2 hours.
Well, in one day though, like I'm talking about like an average day.
I see. 6. Wow. So different. Very interesting. I love it. Okay. Appreciate your contribution. So let's keep moving here. Now, this one's interesting, right? How many hours a week do you give to other people? Okay. So that means you have to spend time with other people. So that means any responsibilities you have to take care of your brother or sister, You have to eat your meals with other people. Like that's expectation. You can't just go to your room. Or maybe you have to help out, or I guess, yeah, help your mom with prepping for meal or something like that. Or how about friends? You know, how much time are you spending with them online? And also, it could also be volunteering, like you're giving your time to help out somebody else. So, how many hours a week do you do that? Okay, 7 hours. Okay. 7 hours a week. So that's like an hour a day, Afnan. Okay. So Beta, I know every day you do spend it was, but like how many hours a day, or how many hours a week though? Ooh, so different. 12, 17. Interesting. All right. All right, folks, let's be honest here. I'll give you my number. How much time do you think you spend on phone and media? So we're talking about any kind of entertainment media here. So it could be gaming, social media, Netflix. I don't know what else streaming sites are there. Apple Plus, Hulu, YouTube, you name it. How much time? Let's be honest here. I think I'm at like maybe 3 hours total. I'll be honest. I think at least an hour and a half, and then maybe about 2 hours. So 3 to 4 hours for me. Athlon's got 6. Wow, 4 to 6. 4, 5. Okay. Got it. Very cool. I appreciate your honesty here, folks. All right, how about this one? I think this one's probably very different for everybody too. So how many hours in a day are you sleeping? So me, like I do about 6 hours a night. And that actually works really well for me. I know it's not the recommended, but honestly, I think for 6, I usually can function really well throughout the day. Any less than that, I don't. Any more than that, I feel kind of sluggish. 7 or 8 looks good. Okay, so it looks like we're all pretty close to each other here. Beta's got 5 or 6. Meraki, oh no, you only have 4. Dang, Meraki, I hope you get some more rest. Okay, last one. This one's very important. Something to think about. How much time do you dedicate to self-care? Now, you may have heard this term quite a bit, especially right now, right? With everything that's going on, this idea of self-care is extremely important. So this is how I define self-care, which is it's a scheduled and planned. So it's not like just out of the blue, you're like, oh, I'm gonna go do this, right? Like you intentionally try to make time and the effort to do something that's gonna make you a happier, healthier person. So we're talking about something that's more in the long run, that's permanent. So I can give you an example. Like I love ice cream. I'm sure some of you do here as well. I can eat a whole tub if I wanted to. And so let's say if I'm like feeling really stressed, I need a self-care time. Like, you know, if I just eat ice cream in the long run, that's probably not healthy, right? I'm going to have all sorts of issues, probably diabetes, heart disease, all those issues, right? But versus like if I do exercise, because that is going to make me a happier, healthier person overall. If I do exercise every day, and even if I just eat a little bit of ice cream as a reward after exercising, that can count as self-care. So how much time do you actually make time for self-care? So it could be sleeping, it could be napping. Napping can be very helpful to get you energized. So for some people, it's meditation or breathing exercise. It could be having a deep conversation with somebody. It could be reading. I do readings in the morning every day for an hour. That's part of my self-care. So what is that? And I think like Ayushna, I'm going to guess like for you, probably playing soccer could be one form of self-care, right? So how many hours are you dedicating to self-care, I guess, every day? Okay, and then just to make sure, there's a difference between self-satisfaction in the short run versus a future self-help happiness. 3 hours, 0, hell, oh no. Hallie, we got to help you plan out some self-care time here. Okay, 1 hour. Okay, so we average between anywhere between 1 to 8. Wait, Meraki, you got 8 hours? I'm interested to see what you're doing for self-care for 8 hours here. Oh, cool. Hella read. Is there a difference between you read and you hella read? Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing, folks. I mean, this is really important, but I think in a moment we'll dive a little bit deeper into kind of what this looks like. So let's take a 2-minute break. It's 4:03 right now. Let's get back by 4:05 if you can, please. Thanks so much. See you in a bit.
I have a question. Would going on YouTube be like one type of like healthcare thing, self-care?
Yeah, that's such a great question, Afnan. So if you're just on YouTube, right? I don't know if this has definitely happened to me, and I'll confess I'm on TikTok these days too. And I don't know if you've ever been on any of these things, right? You're on there for a little bit, or you thought you were going to be on there for a little bit, and then next thing you know, you spent like a whole hour on there, right? So, like I said, like a small dose. If you like, if I am watching a YouTube video for the point of making me laugh, because laughing can really relieve stress, and I do that, and I set a time for that. Like I set half an hour to do that, and then I stop. Right? If you can manage that, then yes. But if you end up realizing, oh shoot, this is taking up all my time because I've just literally wasted 3 hours, right? Just think about it. If you spend 3 hours every day on YouTube for the rest of your life, is that actually going to make you a happier, healthier person? Probably not, right?
Okay. So if it takes a long time, then no. If it takes like a short.
It's that, but also like for me on YouTube, when I'm on YouTube, I'm watching like TED Talks. So it's kind of like a form of reading for me. I'm learning new ideas. And then sometimes I take those ideas, like this unit on time management, I practically stole it off of one of the TED Talks, right? So if it's benefiting me on some level, right, versus entertainment, because entertainment could be more like mindless, right? So maybe if it's more mindful, right? You may have heard of mindful practices. That's what we're talking about.
Like planning out your day, that would be self-care.
It could be, yeah. It definitely can be, right? Especially if you don't plan out your day and you get really stressed out, then absolutely, when you do plan your day, then it is being mindful about yourself, right? Cool. Great question. All right, we've got like maybe 5-10 seconds, and then let's come back. Cool. Folks, let's come back if you can. So if you can have your cameras back on, so I know you are here. Excellent. So we're going to go, you notice we didn't do our 36th question today. And that's because we're going to use this as our kind of breakout partner talk for today. So this is, remember I told you earlier, one of the objectives today is we're going to teach you one time management tip. Okay. And so this is one of the first things that I think is extremely helpful. I've had to do this. I actually use this for Y Scholars. So in the summer, when everything was kind of blown up, right? This program, I had no idea how the heck we're going to run this program. And so what I did was, in order to figure out, okay, how do I manage the time? How do I figure out priorities? Is I started creating a year-end list, which is by the end of the year, what do I want to accomplish? Okay, so from now until end of May, so I start from the end, and I think, okay, what do I want to accomplish on my end with the program? What do I want the scholars to accomplish on their end? Okay. So the way to think about this is if you had a super productive year, so super productive means you had a goal and you were taking a lot of steps and moving towards that goal, what does that look like? Okay, and then for you all, these are the three things that I want you to think about. And so this is what I want you to jot down on your YSP journal. Okay, so imagine from now until the end of the school year, so in May, I want you to think about some ideas in terms of what are those big goals that you would like to accomplish with your college pathway. What have you done for yourself to be better prepared to get to college? Okay, so let's come up with some ideas. So one maybe I want to make sure I have finalized at least 5 colleges that I know for sure I want to apply to next year, right? It could be I want to know for sure what I want to study, or maybe it's about something around getting involved in something, or exploring your interests, something like that. Okay, so I want you to think about that area. The next area is about your relationships. So are there people that you want to be better connected with by the end of the year? Okay, it could be friends, families, professional folks. Okay, it could be your educators. It could be people in this program. Okay, what does that look like? Like, what do you want to accomplish with that person or people? Okay, and the last thing, kind of tying back to self-care, is for yourself. So you can be a little bit selfish here. What is it that you want to accomplish by the end of the year? Okay, again, this is ideal, right? You actually, let's just say you actually invested time and put in the time and effort into this. What does that look like? So kind of think big a little bit here. I'll share mine for my work. It's really this, is by the end of the year, I want to make sure that we've developed a system for Y Scholars. It's very different from the past years, and we're going to go with it. So this will very likely continue on for the next year or 2 or even 3. Okay, and we'll still modify it, but we're trying to make a best system for Y Scholars and also a better system for training my staff. For my relationships, I've been trying to be more connected with my parents, especially, they live in Southern California. So I'm trying to better connect with them and trying to, because they don't do well with being at home. Like, they're hard workers, so they need to be at work or doing something. And so during this time, it was very difficult during quarantine. And so I've had to kind of try to connect with them, more time with them, more FaceTime with them to kind of make sure they're doing okay. And then for myself, I've been, if you attended my growth mindset workshop, I've been doing steps. So I started out at 15,000 steps every day. I've gotten to 30,000 steps every day now, and I want to make sure I continue that. And I want to try to get 250,000 steps every week. So it's just part of me getting older. I want to make sure I'm healthier as I get older. So that's me. Okay. I don't expect you to be anywhere close to mine. So if you don't mind jotting down some ideas in your YSP journal. Okay. So I want you to hit up all 3 areas: your college pathway, your relationships, and yourself. Okay, let's take a look. Beta, make sure you open up your journal. All right, I'm seeing some entries here. Excellent. So what you want to figure out, what you want to study in college, definitely. That is such a big deal, folks. Like, again, the more the colleges know what you want to go for, you're going to stand out, right? Because most people don't know what they want to pursue, right? And even if it's not something that you're still doing 20 years down the line, that's totally fine. But the point is to start somewhere. Okay, so knowing where you want to go to college, I think that's very important. So figuring out. Okay, so the key here is to be a little bit more specific. Is it like how many colleges are you gonna make sure you look up? And then if it's something around like pursuing a career, like what do you want to do to move towards that route? Does that make sense? So is it that you want to narrow in on what specific doctor you want to be? You want to get an internship so that it will move you closer to becoming a doctor? What does that look like? All right. See, some people, it could be somebody just figure out what are some different career fields I want to go into. Okay, that's very important. Okay. So if you haven't done that by now, yeah, now's the time to start looking. Okay. All right, folks, make sure you're writing because I'm not seeing some entries on your thing. So let's keep going here. Okay, so I see that some of you said, I want to connect better with my parents. Again, be specific. What are we talking about? Like you want to, what does that mean? Like what's a better connection with your parents? What does that look like? What does that sound like? All right, so once again, you're putting down 3 areas. So your college pathway, your relationships, and then something that's more focused around you. And then I'm asking you to be a little bit more detailed. Okay, some of you have goals around getting all B's, okay? Or A's even. There you go. Okay, something for self is reading daily. Okay, so that's a good kind of goal. Okay. All right, so hopefully you have some ideas now. So we are gonna do a quick split. Okay, and I want you to kind of share with your partner. And then if you're listening on your partner, make sure you listen to them. And then I'm going to ask you to kind of name one thing that your partner shared about what exactly is an ideal kind of year, super productive year. What are they going for here? Okay. So you'll have about 4 minutes to do this. So it's just a quick share. Okay. Sorry. Sorry about that. Give me a sec. Okay, there's going to be a room of 3. You guys, how come I don't see anything on your stuff?
Explain to me.
I can't hear you. You're kind of choppy. Can you type it in the chat? I don't see anything on your page. Adon, same thing. No. No, you're still choppy. Type it in the chat. Adon, same thing. No.
Mine is at the bottom because when I type on the one, it goes to the bottom.
It goes to the bottom.
To the one under it.
Oh. Oh, I see it. Hold on here. What is going on? Are you pressing enter or are you doing the enter control? All right, there you go.
Do you see mine?
No.
It's at the bottom. It's on the bottom, like all the way down.
Oh, I see. Why did you put it in the bottom if I put on the first, if you clear the first page?
What do you mean? Like I can see all my text from like last.
No, no.
time.
So when you work on this, put it on the first page. That's why I asked you all to clear it. That makes sense?
Oh, did you gotta clear the whole stuff?
So I asked you to clear that first page, right? You'll see it says study group November 2nd, right? So that's today.
What do I do with that?
Okay, just make sure in the future, put it on that first page if it's blank. Got it?
On top? Or
Yeah,
what?
at the very top page. That's right.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah, I got it. I'll do that right now.
all right. So yeah, if you can do that. And then Adon, same thing, like, so you got training horses. I'm not quite sure what you're putting down there, Adon.
Last time, but when I I started a new page, and I write, it takes me to the one I had done from
Okay.
last.
So are you at the very top page?
Yes.
Okay. So all you have so far is I plan on getting the grades, right?
Yeah.
What else do you have? All right, folks, thanks for coming back here. We're gonna go around real quickly. If you can just name something that someone shared. You're gonna have to name their name, but just something that they shared either in college pathway, relationships, or themselves. Okay, so we'll start with Hallie.
My partner said that she wanted to improve her relationship with her family members.
Okay, is there any more specifics about what exactly that means? Okay, no. Okay, Sephora.
My two partners agreed that they want to be healthy by doing steps, and one of my partners, she said that she wants to know herself better.
Okay, definitely. That's very important to know yourself for sure. Afnan, what you got?
My partner said that she wants to have like connections and better relationship with artists, and I thought that was cool.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be cool. Isaac.
Both of my partners want to explore their interests and potential careers. And they
Yeah,
also want to
definitely.
work.
They also want to work. Okay, yeah, definitely. Next year's a good time, or even this year, I suppose. Meraki, anything on your end?
Both of my partners talked basically about self-help, and like one of them talked about having 50,000 steps as a goal.
Wow.
And then one of them talked about like eating healthy and working out, and I thought like I kind of related to that too. I thought it was really cool that we
Yeah.
all kind of have that self-improvement mindset. So
Absolutely. Love it. Yeah. So I think that's a great thing about all these things, right? When we say, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that. But one of the hardest things to start with any of these big goals is like, okay, well, how do I even start that on my week on a weekly basis, right? Like I'm so busy, or I have so much to do, or it may feel like you have a lot to do. And so here's the thing, right? I think let's use a little bit of math and science here. So how many hours do you have in a week? Put down your best estimate, or if you can do mental math quickly in your head. In chat here, what do you think? How many hours do you have in a week?
Like, you mean free time?
No. Just how many hours total in a week?
Oh,
There's one correct answer for this, but you can give an estimate.
168.
168 is correct. All right, so how do we figure that? 24 hours a day, right? 7 days in a week. You multiply that, it's 168. Good job. Some of you used math there. Very cool. So 168 hours. Okay. So for this next week, we're gonna help you kind of track down those hours. So 168 hours is actually a lot of hours. So to do this log, you're gonna need to spend 10 minutes every day, and I would say probably even just 5 minutes. So this is a very extremely simple assignment. So hopefully it's not too intrusive on your day-to-day. You do need to round your hours. So we're just looking for estimates here, right? So if you're checking your phone here and there, add it all up and give your best estimate. And then lastly is be honest. This is not a judgment. I'm not going to be like, oh my God, you spent 8 hours on your phone. Like, no, this is more for you. And hopefully it's getting to know yourself better, right? Getting to know your habits, how you spend your hours. And maybe you'll realize you actually do have some additional time. So let me share with you what this looks like. Okay. So this is what I did. This is what your time discovery log looks like. So for all of you, you'll start off with a blank sheet and we'll have yellow spaces. So your goal by the next time we meet, so today is Monday. So tomorrow you should spend 5 or 10 minutes, reflect back and think about how much time you put into any of these categories. Okay. So I did it for myself. So I changed mine. Mine at the top is work. So this is about how much time I spent on Y Scholars, how much time I spent managing people, which is like working with your counselors and tutors. You know, I'm training them, I'm coaching them. And then admin work is like emails, meetings, additional meetings, all that stuff. So you can see by the end of the week, I actually work more than most people. I'm working about 47 hours every week, not 40 hours like a typical work week. In addition, like I said, I do readings. So that's part of my hobby. So that's my scheduled extracurricular. And I spend about 1 to 2 hours every day. I spend about 6 hours on average for sleeping. I do about 3 hours of exercise every day. I spend about 2 hours total eating. As you can see, I don't really spend family time Monday through Thursdays. Fridays and Saturdays is where I connect with my family and I spend time with my girlfriend. So that's why you can see Saturday is my no work at all day. That's my self-care day. So that's the time to spend with my parents and my loved ones. And then I do spend time on social media and phone, but I really try to limit myself to 1 hour, hopefully ideally around that time every day, and then maybe 2 hours on the weekends. Okay. And some of this, it's kind of integrated, right? Like I obviously watch Netflix with my girlfriend on Saturday. So then free time, that's technically that. But I can kind of connect it with family time. Does that make sense? So you're going to do this for 1 week and you should complete it. And it should look something like your sample here, right? You have about 3 hours of school every day, none on the weekends. You put down how many hours you're spending on homework. If you don't know what some of these categories are, if you just go and hover your mouse over, then the note section will pop up and tell you what those things mean. Okay. So if you see like a little triangle up there in the corner, that means there's additional descriptions there for you. Okay. So please make sure you're updating it. Your counselors are going to track you. And, if you have not been updating, they'll give you a friendly reminder. But we do expect you to have this fully completed by next week. Okay, so please make sure you do that. Okay. And that is that. So all of you have been shared that. I will take any questions that you have. Afnan, go for it.
Where would Y Scholars fall in?
Oh, that's a great question. So it's under education program. So any kind of educational enrichment. So you can see like educational program is something that's a little bit more academic, right? It's not exactly like a club, but if you're actually learning like a STEM club, robotics, I think you're part of that, right? You can put that under education programs. I'm not quite sure. I think robotics is now a class. When it first started, it was a club. And then I think it's evolved into a class. So you can kind of play around with that. Cool. Any other questions? Okay, so just we got 1 minute here. Just want to make sure this is what your log should look like by next week. We'll talk about this next week, but if you're curious, it will add up all the hours for you, and it will tell you, okay, here are your non-busy hours. So this student ended up having about 17 hours every week. That's a lot of hours if you think about it. You can start a hobby if you wanted to, right? And I thought I was super busy. I'm working more than 40 hours every week, right? And I still was able to find 7 free hours every week for myself. So at 7 hours, I can technically, do more exercise, or I can pick up a new hobby. I've been wanting to play guitar, especially right now. We're all at home. Like I want to pick up the guitar, and there's no excuses now, right? I do have 7 hours. I just need to figure out where those 7 hours are at, and then maybe I can schedule it in. So that's where we're going to go into in the future weeks. Okay. So this was really kind of eye-opening for me. I haven't done this. I've done this before. I haven't done this in a while. But just even recognizing that is such a great first step towards time management. Okay. And so that takes us to 4:30. And that will be it for today. So Adon, if I can just ask you to stay after with me for a little bit. Make sure to share your calendars with Elaine if you have not done so, or if you need help, then stick around. I'm happy to help you out.